What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. My name is Johnny, and I am your host today, guys. I got a really exciting guest with me today, Brandon Edwards here. It's actually kind of cool. We met at a mutual friend's wedding last October, right?
Yep, right
Um,
around then.
so we got to hang out and party and celebrate our friend's wedding. So that was really cool. Brandon's here today, guys, because we got to know each other, and I just found out that he just has one of the most incredible stories that I've ever heard of before. Very, very inspiring, especially for people who kind of had a rough beginning, but now seen a lot of success, which is really, really cool. So, thank you, Brandon, for being here. I really appreciate it, man. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Cool, cool. Well, just a short introduction. Brandon, although had a somewhat of a troubled past and wasn't really around much in his 20s, now has owned multiple businesses, sold businesses from the ground up, which is incredible. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that and his journey, but kind of get down to kind of the mindset behind it all, because especially from where you started to where you are now, I'm sure that played a really big role, right? Um,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so thanks a lot for being here again, dude. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that story and kind of where you were and where you are now?
Okay. So grew up pretty normal childhood down in South Florida and got into a lot of trouble when I was younger. So got a bit of a went to prison for a bit and then got out of my late 20s and pretty much had to start from that as an adult in my late 20s. Started off just working regular jobs and things like that, and then just kind of slowly built into owning my first business and then a second one and the next one and things like that. And, pretty much it's just been learning along the way. Never went to college or university or any type of degree, never had any type of internships, just pretty much um, completely unrelated job fields that don't really have anything to do with each other, and I just learn along the way. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's incredible. And what's most impressive here is that you told me a couple of days ago that like 90% of all of this that you got into, right, investing in businesses, starting businesses, selling, all that kind of stuff, marketing, Facebook ads, all that stuff, you kind of just learned on your own.
yeah. Just I mean, countless hours researching. Most of my time is researching. If you know, my friends and I used to joke about in your on your cell phone, you have all the knowledge of the entire world in the palm of your hand, and most people use it to watch cat videos. So yeah, it's just utilizing it. If I don't know something, I Google it. There's countless YouTube channels and websites that'll teach you anything you want to know. You just got to read through it and force yourself to. And it's boring and it's frustrating, but that's the work that it takes. Coming out with a criminal past, it's like you're already kind of fighting an uphill battle. I'm years behind people, and I have a history that won't let me get hired at most places. So naturally, owning a business would seemed like a logical step to, just find my own way. And it's just, I don't know, I just kind of accept that as just that's part of the deal for what I've done in the past. And so it just takes extra work, But yeah, I'm a firm believer you can learn how to do anything if you Google it enough.
If you Google it enough, yeah.
Yeah.
And and you said a while back that as long as you work harder than the person next to you, you can
Yeah.
become
Yeah,
successful.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, it's like, I mean, obviously, I'm not the hardest worker in the entire world, but I do believe I'm one of the like, I'm a firm believer that's like, well, maybe smarter, have a better background or more financing, but it's going to be hard to outwork me. So I'll just put more hours in until I figure it out.
Hey everyone, Johnny here. Sorry for interrupting, but I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you so much for being here on my podcast. If you guys are enjoying the episodes and the conversations that I'm having with these special guests, please go ahead and like this video and hit that subscribe button so that you guys can see our future episodes. I know there's a ton of different podcasts and episodes that you could be listening to or watching right now. So once again, thank you so much for being here and supporting us. All right. Now, back to the show. After you got out, how long until you what you were, I know you were traveling for a little bit, right? And then you kind of invested into this yacht company. Is that how that worked?
No, so when I first got out, I started working at nightclubs in South Beach. I was a promoter out there. And I was just doing that, learning, getting on my feet, figuring things out. And honestly, it was only about 8 months in, 8 months after I got out. I just, I was saving up money and just kind of working, figuring things out. And I came across an opportunity to buy into a boat. So my cousin, and he had a business partner. His business partner wanted out, so he was willing to sell his half for a cheaper price, so opportunity. And I
Yeah.
had some money saved up. I borrowed some money from a family member and bought into it. And so I did. It wasn't like completely 100% on my own. I had my cousin there as a business partner, but from there, you know, um, they were doing yacht charters, just kind of cash in hand, no licensing or anything. So when I bought into it, that was my thing is I needed to do everything legally and by the book, you know, all so I had to then, at the time I didn't even have a laptop. I just on the phone all day researching, okay, well, charters, learn about federal bareboat charters, laws, insurance, this and that, and just research it. So I saw the opportunity. It was a great price. So I bought into that. And that was just with one boat, and, I started looking into it and it just was a slow trickle because at first it barely broke even. Working at the nightclubs was a nice synergistic like type of effect there. Clients and people who go out to nightclubs and buy tables, they're going to rent a yacht as well. But it wasn't really big. We were just breaking even at best, which was, okay, cool. I have a yacht at a break even point. But as time went on, the pandemic certainly helped, and marketing. And once we brokers, our names started getting around, no, these guys, everything's legal, everything, all the paperwork, you start building a good reputation. So then business just started taking off. So we started doing really good with the one boat and eventually got to the point where, we added another boat and kind of built it, just slowly built it into that. And that's when, which is standard with the normal like brick and mortar business. And kind of
Yeah.
where I am at now is started around now where I was like, okay, well, we should build a website. Like, we should start renting things online. And that's when I really started getting into online marketing, website building, things like that. Any type of automation I could figure out, and
You figured out
it's
all on
just
your own.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I signed up
Yeah.
to like one of those online school things where they just watched YouTube videos, a lot of trial
Yeah.
and error. But in the end, I had a friend of mine that I was doing all the classes in this school and asking him questions, and he was just like, honestly, you're better off just doing it. My first Google ad campaign was horrible, but you learn more just starting it and doing it, and you kind of
Mm.
learn more of the practical use of all the different features and how to do stuff and but like I said, you got to be on top of it. I
Wow.
spent 8 hours a day just on Google ads learning it in addition to everything else I was doing. So you just
Right.
so that's why I
Yeah.
always will circle back to it just takes the as long as you work hard at it. But yeah, built it into that and then we expanded. We added more other people's yachts onto the page, started making commission off that, Google ads. Eventually, I used to always vacation out here in Playa del Carmen and Tulum. So eventually I saw a market there. So I went out there, met people, got contacts, and then we added a section for Tulum, a section for Cancun. So now we're just like, started doing different locations and just it's like a slow expansion.
Yeah. Is that where you primarily are, like around Mexico?
For now, yes.
Okay.
So right now I'm based in kind of the Playa del Carmen, Cancun area.
Right. Okay, cool. My wife and I were just in Holbox a couple
Oh
weeks ago.
yeah, that's right. That's
So
right.
that was really cool. And we want
Hmm.
to go back sometime. That'd be really nice. But
Yeah.
um damn man, that's really cool. And when you first got started with everything, like your first investment and then
Hmm.
like learning about ads and like and you were learning on YouTube and things like that. And you said it was really slow at the beginning,
Hmm.
right? I because of where I am with because I'm also an entrepreneur, and so I absolutely love this topic that we're talking about because at the
Hmm.
beginning it is stressful and it's hard and you don't know what you're doing, but you're just trying different things and hopefully it works out. And it's nice when you have consistency with the nightclubs like you were talking about. And I had like
Yeah,
a side job that had some sort of consistency. But then when COVID hit, that was gone. So when
yeah,
I went like head first into my business, and it is super scary, dude. And yeah, definitely really slow at the beginning. So I guess my question is like, how did you handle your mindset? What did you kind of do to work on you and your mindset when you were starting everything, when things were slow and things were kind of hard?
yeah. Well, all right. So yeah, when we were starting off, things were slow. Like you said, when you have a normal job, like I still had the income from the nightclub. If there's
Yeah,
anything I need to, to float the business, if it was a negative that month, so that's always nice. But when COVID hit, the nightclubs also closed. Um,
yeah,
I don't know. I think I was just pretty much kind of you have no other choice. I'm like that's kind of the way I saw it. It's like, okay, you can, it's stressful. It's like I don't know what to do, but what other choice do you have? You
yeah.
have to figure. I don't know. I think it's almost in its own way part of a mindset of like, okay, you can try, but that's not going to work. You have to make it work. So how do you, it's like it's not a
Have to make it
try and
work.
fail. Yeah, there's no other choice. This has to work. So you know like if for anything, if you have to be somewhere at a certain time, you're going to find a way, whether it's a bus running, you'll leave the day before, you're going to make it work, versus okay, it'd be nice if I got there at this time, then you kind of make excuses for yourself. So if you
Yeah,
look at it as there's no other choice, you're going to find a way. And you are right, the scary part is there's, for most entrepreneurs, not all, but I think most, especially, there's not always a roadmap, or the roadmap isn't the same for everyone. So the hardest
exactly.
part
Yeah,
is figuring out your way, which way works for
your
you.
way.
That's where I think in the beginning it's slow, because it's the problem of too many options, right? It's like you can't just do, okay, yeah, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Google ads. Do I advertise on Reddit, social media presence, all these things? It's
Yeah,
like you can't.
funnels like LinkedIn. Like there's so many different kinds of things you can do.
Exactly. I'm not. Yeah, that's one I haven't even gotten into, because each one is its own learning curve and time, and
And yeah,
and it's not one size fits all. But for me, at least, I find that I do better instead of trying to do all of them a little bit at a time forward. I focus on one. I only did Google Ads. Then I only focus on social media marketing. And just it made it. That's just me though. Some people may do better, but I thought it's like, all right, I want Google Ads 10 out of 10 running. Then I don't have to think about it as much, and then I could put all my focus into this in my free time. You know, but it's
exactly.
just
Yeah,
identifying which ones you should do. Because in my other businesses, I tried them, and one of them, I tried at first with Reddit, and it just wasn't the right platform. And I just the time I put in, okay, well, that's a wash. I then try the next one.
yeah, yeah. So what's been like your favorite business that you've had so far?
Favorite
Like,
business.
yeah, like the most fun, the easiest, whatever you most
Oh,
enjoy the most.
anything that could be automated. I have a couple small ones where I worked like a couple small businesses, shops on Etsy, and a couple ones where it's pretty much completely automated, where the customer puts their order in, and I use Zapier, and I have them receive the order, forward, message, alter, and everything that's needed in order to push it through. So that's kind of where I'm headed. I'm kind of focusing on in my future businesses, is like anything that can be automated, where the only thing I have to do is answer like customer problems, if there's a unique situation. So it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, so that's kind of where I'm focusing on now. Like the yacht rental website, it's still up and running, but it is time consuming. It's a higher dollar amount per purchase. So customers want a more personal experience. So it's much more hands on, and
right.
that's good, but right now I'm really enjoying anything I can automate where it's the least amount of hours put in,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that way you have
Just
way more freedom to kind of just do
hmm
whatever you want to do, right? You have this
exact
back end system that's kind of working.
exactly. So
Um,
time so
yeah.
right now I'm working on it should be up and running in a few weeks, is a transport website. So you probably didn't do it with Holbox, but when you land in Cancun airport, you see everyone out there with the signs, like with vans transportation.
Yep.
So I'm making a website for that, a few of them, and I've talked, I go and I talk to the transport companies, and basically I work out a deal for wholesale pricing. Now that I know marketing, I market sales, make sales, and when they purchase, I get the information, fill out a spreadsheet, email gets forwarded to the respective transport company. So I don't have to do anything. They go, they pick up, and then I collect commission. So
There it is. Yep.
exactly. So that, it's like as a example of like I'm really excited about this one. It should be out in a few weeks, but for me, automation, just because I am realizing that, as I have all these businesses, time to me is the most important thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it some of my businesses don't make a lot of money, but they don't require a lot of time. So I kind of just look at everything as, how much am I earning? What is like my average, profit per hour? Like how much time do
For
I put
work.
into the
Yeah.
business to how much does it actually profit? Is if that's worth it and it's a high enough number, I'll keep it. Because I've had businesses, other ones that made good money, but it just took too much time for each sale.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd
Yeah.
rather do something that maybe makes less money, but does a lot less hours.
Exactly. And by the sounds of it, you can own multiple businesses, right? And
Yeah.
you're doing a really good job at doing that. So if you had multiple businesses that required less time and made a moderate amount of money,
Hmm.
like you can get away with doing that and, live like a free life kind of deal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, like I said, this isn't everyone's thing is different. This is just my thing. I had one business
Yeah.
before that made all the money, but the economy isn't the best right now. So one of the first things people stop
Yeah.
spending money on is luxury purchases like yacht rentals.
Yeah.
So as that started going down, I had to diversify, and that maybe it's reaction to what had happened with the yacht rental business. But because of that, I'm like, I don't really want all my eggs in one basket of a business, you know.
Yep. Yep. So to everyone who's listening here with us, guys, Brendan, if you had like one tip or like one like mindset strategy in terms of like starting from a rough pass and building a
Hmm.
business, and even though your mindset and your business might go up and down like this, you do have an upward trend over the last what 5 or 6 years,
Hmm.
which is incredible, and it's hard. So what if you can give out like one mindset tip or strategy that really helped you out, what would that be?
Uh, I, all right, I'd say I'd say two things. One, it's going to be hard, but it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy, and the choices we make in our past make it more difficult, and that's
Right.
consequences. So I think a lot of people who I know have gotten out, they're not, oh, but yeah, it's not fair. I'm like, well, yeah, it's not fair, but it's not supposed to be. Just because you paid your debt to society doesn't mean everything goes back to normal.
Yeah.
So, you know, it sucks. You work harder, but that's consequences. So you just accept that you have to work harder instead of thinking, why does that guy have it easier? That'd be one. And I'd say two, just do it because the worst that can happen, a saying I always say to myself, oh, it's better than being in prison. So, what's the worst that can happen? You try a business that fails, hey, at least I'm not in prison. So
At least,
it's still
hey,
better.
man, that's a really, really good way to think about that for sure.
Yeah, so
Or at least
anytime
I'm
a
not,
business is, yeah, sorry.
yeah. At least I'm not like homeless, or at least,
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
I'm healthy, or, something. So
Well, yeah, because
what I
the
really
worst,
like about what you
absolute
just,
worst, yeah,
yeah.
sorry. Oh,
Oh,
I was gonna say
just
the
gonna,
absolute worst case scenario in anything, right? If you do any business where people may be scared, what if it fails? And if it does, like you said, whether prison or homeless, like you won't be homeless, right? You can sell the business, you can cut back on your expenses, you can get a job again. Like that's
yeah,
the absolute worst case scenario. And then you're kind of right back to what you're doing right now. So have you really lost something? And that's if it fails, absolute worst case scenario. So that means it only is better results from that or better, uh, you know.
yeah, exactly. And like you said earlier, it's about finding a way, right?
Mhm.
Like you got to
Yeah.
find a way to make it work, because I feel like, maybe a lot of entrepreneurs were born in 2020 because a lot of people lost their jobs and they didn't know what to do. So they had to find a way to stay busy, make money, find some sort of purpose in their life,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
What's most impressive about you is the moment you got out, you knew what you wanted to do, and it just kind of snowballed, right?
I won't say I knew what I wanted to do. I All right. So this may be controversial, but I'm not a big believer in like find something you're passionate about. I'm not a big believer in that because yachts are fun, but personally, I don't like them.
Yeah,
Transport, like just like
right.
the transport company I'm started. Like, I don't think about transport vans and I get like all giddy. I, so, and that's not to everyone. If you find that combo, great. but I think it's better to just find a market opportunity, a business opportunity.
Yeah.
Like
You
a
can do
guy who
both.
owns a huge cement company doesn't like just dream about cement. He wasn't like drawing cement trucks when he was a kid. So my personal opinion, and like I said, I'm not saying it's that for everyone, but it's not like find something you're passionate about. It's just find opportunity, and then seize on it.
Yeah. Just take advantage of those opportunities
hmm
that you see.
Yeah. Now, if
And
you're passionate about it,
don't
that's
let
a
them pass up.
bonus. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're passionate about it, that's a bonus. But I think I'd rather have a business I'm not passionate about, but that's profitable versus something that I'm passionate about but doesn't make any money because then that's no longer a business
Well,
or a
then you might not
successful
be as
business.
passionate about it because you're not making any money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. So I know when you first started off, you were kind of doing most of everything on your own. Are
hmm
you still doing it on your own, or have you hired some sort of mentor or business coach or
I'm
something?
No, I haven't done it, gone down that route. I've talked to my friends about that. I know some who are going down that route. I have not yet. I have found that like some of my business partners who I've teamed up with on various businesses are in their own way extremely smart, and I learn a ton from them. So in a way, that becomes
Wow.
like a mentorship, you know. And then it's networking. I have friends who are very knowledgeable, and networking and who you hang out with and talk to are important because a lot of
Yep.
friends of mine, half of our conversations is just spitballing different ideas, and we talk about our businesses. And that's what I said. I think maybe in its own way, we're more passionate about making a successful business.
Yep.
And we talk about it and we bounce ideas and oh, have you thought about this? Have you done that? And it just, in
Yep.
that way, I've learned a ton. Um, so as far as like mentorships and people I look up to, it's been more through that route.
hmm Yep. That. You're right. It is. It's about networking, getting to know people, building a relationship with people because you never know who this person might know, right?
Exactly.
Because the other day I met someone who knew somebody who I eventually hired as a business coach, right?
Oh,
And then
amazing.
little did I know this, my business coach knows Russell Brunson,
Oh,
who, if you
wow.
don't know who that is, like look him up because
hmm
he's huge. He's a big guy. So it's just kind of crazy, like who you know, building that relationship, and just like be nice, dude. Like I feel like the world's so mad right now.
Yeah, it's
But
very divisive, very divisive. Everyone just wants to almost waiting for an argument, it seems.
yeah, yeah. But I love how you say like just find a way, take those opportunities and make it work because it's better than being in prison. That's
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
incredible.
And,
Yeah,
yeah, to each person, it's just that's the only thing I can always say. It's
yeah,
like the worst case scenario, the business fails, and you're going to be working probably the same job. So
yeah, yeah. So what do you do when you're not doing business?
researching about business. No,
Not business related. Like what do you have any
none.
like kind of hobbies or do you play sports or anything?
I'm traveling around now. I used to play sports. I still able to
Okay.
do some, but I had a back injury and had to get surgery a few years ago. So, I used to like basketball and stuff a lot more and running, but so now I just go to the gym, working out. I love traveling and exploring new areas. I very love diving. They have cenotes out here, which are like underground sinkholes and caves and stuff. So I went cave diving a few months
Oh,
ago, which is
wow.
blast. Yeah, so I mean, I love doing that.
You're in Tulum, right?
I'm in Playa del Carmen right now, but yeah, they
Okay.
have cenotes out in Tulum as well.
Okay, so how about I'll make a trip and we got to go cave diving. That would be really
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Noted.
Amazing. Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So I still stay somewhat adventurous and stuff in the things I do. I love going,
Okay.
yeah, just finding random, fun, exciting events to go to, and places to travel and see, pretty much.
That's awesome. Very cool. And so we're getting close to the end now. I just wanted to ask, you're doing like guided tours right now at the moment, right? Is it,
Yes, that's part of the transport business. We also offer guided tours in the Cancun, Playa, Tulum area,
okay.
yacht rentals as well.
Up in Florida as well?
Guided tours, yes. In Naples, we do guided
Okay.
land tours.
That's amazing. Is that like on a yacht or like how does that work?
No, it's on segways, mopeds,
Oh,
electric
okay. I got
trikes.
you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Oh,
it's
that's
a group
really cool.
group guided tours. But yeah, another business, automated, just this and that. So yes,
Cool.
some tour guides. It works very well. So yeah, if anyone's out there, Naples, Miami, Tulum, Playa, a lot of
Yeah.
different areas.
want to live in luxury for a couple hours for sure. And where can people find you and get in contact with you to
uh,
book some
yeah.
tours
So I would say the easiest way, just because of the volume of different websites and everything, the easiest way to just reach out to me on social media. It's Brando is MIA.
on
At,
Instagram?
on every platform, it's the same username. So
Brando
yeah,
is MIA. Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
correct.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
yeah, Instagram I answer to the fastest. I'm on there the most, but TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, every single thing, it's the same username. So very easy to
Yeah,
find. Yeah, and just
cool.
reach out to
Cool.
me if you're interested in anything. And always willing to help
Yeah.
and have plenty of areas.
Very cool. Dude, you're such a cool guy, dude, and I'm so happy we were able to meet. And it's
Yeah,
it's really funny how we met because if that event didn't happen, we would have never have even met, not even close, which is so cool.
yeah. Well, just like you said
Um,
earlier, it's you never know who you're gonna meet, in
you
any
never know who you're
circumstance.
gonna meet. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
insane. That's cool. Well, everyone who's watching, please go follow him. Brando is MIA. I know I've been following you for a couple months, and you post a lot of really awesome photos and videos, on boats and like on the ocean, and you're almost living my dream life, which is crazy. And I feel
Well,
like a lot of
come
people,
on down and hang out sometime.
that'd be cool, dude. Yeah, that'd be really, really cool. So, all right, man. Thanks a lot for being
All
here.
right.
People, please reach out to him if you guys have questions about anything. Please subscribe because I want you guys. We're going to be having a lot of really amazing guests on the show. We're going to continue to have a lot of amazing guests. So please hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions for me or for Brandon, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay. So, all right. Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.